Hi, my name is Ryan Yonda, and this is my Week 9 syndrome presentation. Sheila Grossman in Porth's Pathophysiology, Concepts of Altered Health States, defines a syndrome as a compilation of signs and symptoms manifested from a specific disease state. Tourette syndrome is one that affects the neurological or nervous system of the body. The clinical manifestations of Tourette syndrome are defined in an online article by Mayo Clinic staff published August 2018. These are described as involuntary movements or sounds that don't stop with time and are not easily controlled. These are referred to as tics, and these tics can be classified as simple or complex. The characteristics of these tics vary in type, frequency, and severity. They worsen if you're ill, stressed, anxious, tired, or excited. They can occur during sleep. They change over time. And a common characteristic is that they worsen during teenage years but can improve during adulthood. An example of a vocal tic is a habitual throat clearing. That would be simple. A complex vocal tic could be the use of vulgar language in a public setting without reason. An example of a simple motor tic would be head jerking, while a complex motor tic would be hopping. The nervous system syndromes defined by A. Zeman and C. Butler in an article published March 2005 are often misdiagnosed as psychiatric disorders due to their displacement from social norm. These three examples are particularly noteworthy due to their bizarre nature and absence from public discussion in the general population. The first example is Charles Bonnet syndrome. This creates complex visual hallucinations through ocular pathology. A sufferer of this syndrome sees vivid images of animals, people, scenery, and these often occur at nighttime. Alien hand syndrome is a rare syndrome that affects typically one limb. The affected limb has autonomous movement against the free will of the person who suffers from this syndrome. The affected limb may act in contradiction to an unaffected limb. For example, your left hand may inadvertently grope at an object, or your left hand may be zipping your jacket up while your right hand autonomously attempts to unzip your jacket. The third example would be Capris delusion or Capris syndrome. Sufferers of this syndrome believe that an imposter with who is physically identical to a friend or relative has replaced that individual. This is typically associated with evidence of organic brain disease in 25 to 40% of cases, such as dementia and head injury. These syndromes differ from Tourette syndrome in their development. Regardless of their particular signs and symptoms, these three examples have been linked to external factors such as cataracts or stroke, while Tourette syndrome has been theorized as a primarily hereditary disease or syndrome. Tourette syndrome is also most prevalent during childhood, while these three examples are primarily affected in adulthood. Several diseases exist within sufferers of Tourette syndrome. National Institute of Neurological Disorder and Stroke described conditions often associated with Tourette syndrome in an article published January 2012. Tourette syndrome can frequently generate behavioral and social abnormalities which might affect a person's self-image. Conditions often associated with Tourette syndrome include attention deficit and hyperactivity disorder, anxiety disorders, and obsessive compulsive disorder. The National Institute of Mental Health, in an article published March 2016, described ADHD as a brain disorder which causes a pattern of inattention, hyperactivity, and impulsivity. Another March 2016 article describes anxiety disorders as causing symptoms such as restlessness, sleeplessness, and muscle tension. And in January 2016, this organization published an article stating that OCD is the chronic disorder causing uncontrollable, repetitive notions by that person who suffers OCD. Okay, thank you.